You were not born weak, you were made weak. From the moment you could walk, you were fed stories of kindness, fairness, and virtue, stories that promised you safety if only you behaved, if only you obeyed. These stories became laws in your mind. They told you the world was good. They told you people were honest. They told you that truth always wins. But the world you were promised does not exist. It never did. What exists is something far colder, far older, far more merciless than the stories allow. What exists is power, and power does not care about your goodness. Power does not reward you for honesty. Power does not bend for your intentions. It crushes the naive, and it elevates the cunning. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote not for children, not for dreamers, but for rulers. His words were not comfortable, they were brutal. He looked at human nature and described it as it is, not as we wish it to be. And for that reason, his name still lingers like a curse, because deep down, people know he was right. But you were not raised on Machiavelli. You were raised on lies. Lies designed to tame you. Lies designed to make you predictable, obedient, and easy to rule. They sound noble. They sound moral. They sound righteous, but they are poison. There are 10 of these lies that, if you keep believing them, will destroy you. They will strip you of strength, blind you to reality, and leave you as prey in a world of predators. Watch closely, learn the 10 lies destroying your power, and subscribe now to stop being invisible, powerless, and forgotten. The first is the sweetest and the deadliest, the belief that the world is fair. The belief in fairness is not hope. It is weakness dressed as virtue. It whispers that if you work hard, you will be rewarded, that if you play by the rules, the universe will balance the scales. But fairness is a myth, designed to pacify the masses. It keeps the worker loyal while his masters devour him. It keeps the betrayed lover clinging to promises that will never be fulfilled. It keeps entire nations waiting for justice while their rulers strip them bare. Look at history. Do you see fairness, or do you see conquest? Do you see justice, or do you see manipulation? The rise and fall of empires is not a story of fairness, but of force, strategy, and deception. The strong take, the weak wait, and those who wait are always left behind. Machiavelli warned that the man who lives by how the world ought to be will perish in the world as it is. This is the sickness of fairness. It blinds you. You no longer see betrayal coming because you believe it shouldn't exist. You no longer guard your throne because you believe others will respect it. You no longer act with force because you believe life will reward your patience. And so you are devoured, not by fate, not by chance, but by your own illusions. The second lie is softer, but no less lethal, the belief that being liked is enough. From childhood, you were trained to seek approval. You were rewarded for being agreeable, punished for defiance, praised for being nice. And so you grew up believing that if people like you, they will respect you. But history laughs at this lie. The world is full of likable nobodies, men who were loved by all but remembered by none, men who bent, who smiled, who pleased everyone but commanded no one. Being liked makes you comfortable company. It does not make you powerful. It does not make you untouchable. It does not make you feared. Machiavelli's cold truth: it is safer to be feared than loved. Love is fragile. It evaporates with jealousy, with boredom, with envy. Fear is solid. Fear anchors respect. Fear keeps loyalty in line long after affection has died. If you chase approval, you become dependent on the moods of others, but if you command respect, you stand above their moods. The third lie is more subtle, more poisonous, the belief that honesty always wins. You were told that truth has its own power, that all you must do is speak it, and it will conquer lies. But men do not live by truth. They live by appearances. They do not see reality. They see only what is presented to them. This is why honesty becomes a trap. The honest man lays himself bare. He reveals too much. He trusts too quickly. He offends without calculation. And so his truth becomes his weakness. He is destroyed not because of his lies, but because of his inability to use them. Machiavelli revealed the darker reality. People judge more from appearances than from reality. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you truly are. If you want to survive, you must master appearances. Use honesty like a weapon, not a habit. Reveal only what strengthens you. Hide what weakens you. Build an image that commands trust, while keeping your real self untouchable. And then comes the fourth lie, the one that seals the coffin, the belief that good intentions guarantee good outcomes. You are told that purity of heart is enough, that if your motives are noble, life will reward you. But the graveyards are full of men with good intentions, men who wanted peace but were conquered, men who wanted fairness but were crushed, men who wanted love but were betrayed. Intentions mean nothing without strength. The wolf does not spare the lamb because the lamb means well. Goodness without strategy is an invitation to be exploited. Machiavelli knew this. He wrote that men should either be treated generously or destroyed, because slight injuries invite revenge, but crushing force silences it. This was not cruelty, it was clarity. The world does not reward you for what you intend, it rewards you for what you achieve. The only thing that matters is outcome. And so these four lies, fairness, likability, honesty, and good intentions, are the pillars of your weakness. They sound noble, but they are chains. They strip you of suspicion, of cunning, of strategy. They make you predictable. They make you prey. But the moment you reject them, you become something else. You begin to see people as they are, not as they pretend to be. You stop waiting for justice and start enforcing your own. You stop pleasing and start commanding. You stop speaking blindly and start shaping appearances. You stop hoping your goodness will protect you and instead build the strength to protect yourself. This is the Machiavellian way. It is not moral, it is not fair, it is not kind, but it is real. And reality, not illusion, is the soil in which power grows. So remember this. While you hesitate, someone else, someone who already knows these truths, is deciding how to use you. The first lie deserves to be destroyed more thoroughly because it is the root from which all the other lies grow. It is the one you cling to when life betrays you. It is the excuse you whisper when you see others rise above you while you remain stuck. Fairness makes you passive, and passivity is the soil where weakness thrives. Think of the worker who gives his life to a company. He arrives early, leaves late, never causes trouble, always obeys the rules. He believes in fairness, so he assumes loyalty will be rewarded. But when the company no longer needs him, he is discarded like an empty shell. Fairness does not save him. He is replaced by someone younger, cheaper, hungrier. His loyalty meant nothing because the world does not deal in fairness, it deals in leverage. Think of the lover who gives everything, who sacrifices, who bends, who compromises endlessly. They believe that if they give enough, if they love enough, they will be loved in return. But love does not obey fairness. Affection is not a currency that guarantees repayment. And so the one who gave everything is left with nothing, replaced by someone who gave less, but carried mystery, tension, danger. Even entire nations fall victim to this lie. The people believe their rulers will treat them fairly. They trust, they obey, they submit. But rulers do not deal in fairness. They deal in strategy, and the people who wait for justice always wait too long. By the time they realize the truth, their strength is gone, their chains are locked, and the rulers have already cemented their power. Fairness blinds you. It keeps you still when you should move. It makes you tolerate injustice instead of striking it down. It teaches you to accept scraps instead of demanding feasts. The man who believes in fairness will always be betrayed because he is always unprepared for the cruelty of reality. The powerful do not expect fairness. They expect betrayal, so they prepare for it. They expect opposition, so they calculate against it. They expect injustice, so they sharpen their weapons, and when betrayal comes, they do not cry, they strike. The rejection of fairness is not cynicism, it is liberation. It frees you from the chains of expectation. It makes you dangerous because you no longer rely on illusions. You see the world not as a child, but as a predator, and predators do not complain about fairness, they hunt. Now from this poison of fairness grows the second lie, the belief that being liked is enough. If fairness makes you passive, likability makes you invisible, you were trained to chase approval, to smile when you wanted to snarl, to nod when you wanted to resist, to agree when you wanted to rebel. And so you became soft, agreeable, pleasant, likable, but what did it earn you? Do people respect the agreeable man? No, they use him. Do people admire the one who always bends? No, they forget him. The world is full of likable nobodies, men who pleased everyone but commanded no one. They disappear into history without leaving a trace, remembered only as kind souls who never shook the ground they walked on. Machiavelli's words cut through this illusion like a blade. It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose. He did not say love has no value. He said love is fragile. It is dependent on emotions, on moods, on circumstances. People love you today and betray you tomorrow. Love bends with envy. Love collapses under pressure. Love evaporates the moment it is tested. Fear, on the other hand, endures. Fear anchors respect. Fear keeps loyalty intact long after love has withered. A man may stop loving you, but if he fears you, he will not betray you. A soldier may grow weary of his king, but if he fears the punishment of betrayal, he will fight. Fear protects you when love cannot. Being liked is a trap. It makes you dependent on the opinions of others. It makes you beg for their approval, and the one who begs for approval is always beneath the one who gives it. If you live for being liked, you become a slave to the moods of others, but if you command respect, you rise above their moods. Look at leaders. The ones who are remembered are not the agreeable, the soft, the likable. They are the ones who commanded fear, who demanded respect, who bent others to their will. The agreeable fade, the feared endure. If you want power, stop chasing approval. Approve yourself. Set standards that others must rise to. Make your presence heavy, not light. Do not aim to be liked. Aim to be respected. Respect lasts longer than affection. Respect cuts deeper than charm. Respect protects you when love turns to hatred. And here lies the second chain broken. The destruction of the need to be liked is the birth of dignity. It is the moment you stop begging for crumbs of affection and start commanding the feast of respect. But even this is not enough, for the third lie still poisons you, the belief that honesty always wins. The third lie is perhaps the most seductive because it cloaks itself in virtue. From childhood you were told that honesty is always the best policy, that truth will set you free, that if you are genuine the world will reward you. It sounds noble. It sounds comforting. It sounds safe. But it is also one of the most destructive illusions ever created. The truth does not always liberate. Sometimes it imprisons. Sometimes it destroys. Sometimes it hands your enemies the very weapon they will use to cut you down. Machiavelli understood this well. He observed rulers and courtiers who believed that sincerity would shield them, only to watch them betrayed, humiliated, or executed because they revealed too much of themselves. When you are honest, you expose your soul. You reveal your weaknesses, your desires, your fears, your vulnerabilities. You give the world a map of how to control you. The one who knows your secrets owns you. The one who knows your desires can manipulate you. The one who knows your fears can paralyze you. Honesty is not power, information is power, and information must be controlled. To reveal everything is to surrender control. To reveal nothing is to force others to guess, and guessing breeds respect, fear, and uncertainty. Look at history. Julius Caesar did not reveal all his intentions when he crossed the Rubicon. He concealed his strategy until it was too late for his enemies to resist. If he had been honest about his ambitions, the Senate would have crushed him before he could seize Rome. Napoleon did not win battles by announcing every move. He thrived on deception, feints, misdirection. His honesty lay only in victory when the truth of his genius was undeniable. Even in ordinary life, this truth crushes illusions. The employee who honestly complains to his boss about frustrations is often labeled weak or disloyal. The politician who speaks the unfiltered truth loses elections to the one who crafts words with ruthless calculation. The lover who confesses every insecurity becomes unattractive, while the one who holds some mystery is desired. This does not mean lying endlessly. It means understanding the psychological art of selective truth. It means revealing what strengthens you and concealing what weakens you. It means shaping perception instead of handing over raw reality. Machiavelli warned, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." Appearances are the battlefield of power. To show everything is to lose the battle before it begins. The wise reveal only what is useful. They craft an image, a mask, a persona. Behind that mask they calculate in silence, untouchable. The naive call this manipulation. The powerful call it survival. If you cling to the idea that honesty always wins, you will spend your life being predictable, transparent, and weak. You will wonder why others always seem 3 steps ahead, why your openness leads to betrayal, why your sincerity leaves you exposed. The answer is simple: you mistook truth for strategy. The harsh reality is this: the world does not reward truth-tellers, it rewards storytellers. It rewards those who manage perception. It rewards those who understand that silence is sometimes more powerful than words, and that a well-placed deception can achieve what a lifetime of honesty never could. To abandon blind honesty is to enter the realm of strategy. It is to understand that truth is not an obligation, it is a weapon, and weapons must be used carefully, not revealed carelessly. 3 lies destroyed, but one remains, perhaps the most dangerous of all. The 4th lie that weakens men, cripples nations, and hands power to the cunning. The lie that morality alone protects you. The 4th lie: morality will protect you. From the moment you could walk, they told you that being good keeps you safe. That morality is a shield. That if you live honorably, karma, God, fate, or justice will protect you. This is the 4th lie, the most poisonous of all, because it convinces you to walk naked into a battlefield, trusting that your purity will deflect arrows. It never has, it never will. History laughs at the moral man who believed virtue alone would keep him alive. Socrates drank the hemlock while his accusers lived on. Jesus was crucified while the corrupt priests thrived. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most moral emperor Rome ever knew, watched his empire corrode and left the throne to Commodus, a tyrant who dismantled everything. The harsh truth: morality does not protect you, it exposes you, because to the immoral, your virtue is a weakness to be exploited. Your predictability becomes a weapon in their hands. Your unwillingness to cross certain lines becomes the exact trap that destroys you. Machiavelli saw this clearly. He wrote not for saints, but for rulers who wanted to survive. His words cut to the bone. A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good. Think about that. If you are surrounded by wolves, your commitment to sheep-like behavior is not noble, it is suicidal. The world is not balanced. It does not operate on cosmic fairness. The good are not automatically rewarded. The evil are not automatically punished. Sometimes cruelty wins. Sometimes deception triumphs. Sometimes the tyrant dies in bed, surrounded by wealth, while the virtuous rot forgotten in unmarked grave. To believe otherwise is to live in delusion. But here lies the subtlety. Machiavelli never argued that one must always be immoral. No, he understood something deeper. The truly powerful man must be able to use morality and immorality as tools, to appear moral when it benefits him, to discard morality when survival demands it, to wear virtue as a mask, while behind the mask lies cold calculation. The prince who is loved for his justice may secretly rule with iron and blood. The politician who speaks endlessly of values may build his empire on corruption. The businessman who boasts about ethics may crush competitors ruthlessly in silence. Their power does not come from morality itself. It comes from the ability to wield morality as a weapon of perception. This is the ultimate lesson. Morality is not a shield, it is a costume. Wear it when it protects you, remove it when it endangers you. The naive mistake morality for protection. The wise see morality as camouflage. Consider the lion and the fox. The lion rules by force, the fox by cunning. The lion who clings to honor alone will be outwitted. The fox who pretends to be harmless will eventually be devoured. But the man who can shift between lion and fox, virtue and vice, mask and claw, he is untouchable. If you build your life on morality alone, you will lose everything. If you reject morality entirely, you become a monster, hated and hunted. The true Machiavellian path lies in mastery, the art of appearing moral while being strategically ruthless. That is the 4th lie destroyed. And when you strip away these illusions, fairness, likability, blind honesty, and morality as protection, you stand naked before the real architecture of power. You see the world as it is, cruel, cunning, unbalanced. You see people not as saints and sinners, but as predators and prey. You see morality, honesty, fairness, and likability not as absolutes, but as tools, weapons, masks. And suddenly you realize the truth. Power is not given, it is taken. It is not inherited by the moral, the honest, the fair, or the likable. It belongs to those willing to cut through illusions, to shape perception, to wield both virtue and vice with precision. Machiavelli was not giving us comfort, he was giving us warning. Those who cling to lies will be devoured. Those who awaken to reality will be feared, respected, and unshakable. The fifth lie, patience always pays. The weak are told to wait. Be patient, they say. Good things come to those who wait. This lie has lulled countless men into lives of quiet desperation, sitting in corners, watching the bold seize what they hesitated to touch. Patience is praised because it keeps you obedient. It keeps you docile. It keeps you from reaching out with claws when the moment is ripe. And so, the ambitious man is taught to hold back, to silence his hunger, to trust that the universe will eventually reward him. But Machiavelli knew better. He watched kingdoms fall not because rulers lacked power, but because they lacked timing. They waited too long. They hesitated. They believed fortune would circle back for them. It never did. Fortune, he wrote, is a woman, and she yields to the bold, not the timid. To wait endlessly is not patience. It is paralysis. History is filled with those who trusted time instead of seizing it. Think of the generals who delayed their attack until the enemy grew stronger. The politicians who postponed decisive action until the tide had turned against them. The men who waited for the right moment until their chance was gone forever. Patience can be a virtue, but only when it is strategic. To wait with purpose, to stalk like a predator preparing the kill, that is power. But to wait blindly, hoping that life will reward you simply for enduring, that is weakness disguised as virtue. The world does not hand crowns to the patient. It hands crowns to those who strike before others even realize the game has begun. If you cling to this lie, you will grow old waiting for doors that will never open. The bold man does not wait, he breaks doors down. The sixth lie, knowledge alone is power. This lie is seductive because it flatters the intellect. From schools to universities, from mentors to motivational books, you are told that if you simply know enough, if you gather information, if you read endlessly, then power will come to you. Knowledge is power, they repeat. It sounds profound, but it is false. Knowledge is potential. Power is action. Knowledge without execution is sterile. It sits in the mind like stagnant water, feeding nothing, changing nothing. The world is full of men who know everything and achieve nothing. Scholars who memorize every theory but cannot command a single soul. Philosophers who craft elegant systems of thought, yet starve in obscurity. Employees who understand their trade better than their bosses, yet remain underpaid and overlooked, because they never moved beyond theory to strategy. Machiavelli saw this flaw in human nature. He knew that men mistake accumulation for dominance. The libraries of Florence were filled with thinkers who wrote endlessly about ideal states and moral virtues, but it was the ruthless men of action, the Caesar Borgias, the cunning princes, who bent reality to their will. Knowledge does not guarantee victory. Action does. Knowledge can be stolen, copied, or ignored, but decisive movement, bold execution, that reshapes the board. Consider the countless men who endlessly plan, research, and prepare. They bury themselves in books, strategies, and notes. They convince themselves that once they finally know enough, they will act. But that day never comes. Knowledge becomes their excuse for hesitation. They are trapped in the illusion of preparation, mistaking endless study for progress. Meanwhile, the bold, those who act with half the information, those who seize opportunities with incomplete certainty, they rise. They make mistakes, but they learn through blood, not paper. They lose battles, but each loss sharpens their instincts. While the knowledgeable are still preparing, the bold have already conquered. Knowledge is only power when it is fused with courage, timing, and cunning. Alone, it is impotent. A weapon that is never drawn cannot protect you. A strategy that is never executed cannot win wars. A truth that is never applied cannot set you free. The lie that knowledge alone is power creates a society of dreamers, thinkers, and talkers, but very few doers. It breeds men who drown in books, while their rivals seize kingdoms. It convinces you that you are advancing, while you are in fact standing still. The world does not reward the one who knows the most. It rewards the one who moves first, the one who takes what others only studied. Knowledge is not power, it is fuel, and fuel without fire is useless. Burn this lie: knowledge is not enough. Action is the only measure of strength. The seventh lie: hard work guarantees success. This is perhaps the most widespread deception of all. From childhood you are told, work hard and you will succeed. Parents repeat it. Teachers drill it into your mind. Society worships the grind, the endless labor, the blood and sweat poured into a dream. And yet, how many men have worked themselves to the bone, only to die anonymous, broke, and forgotten? Hard work by itself guarantees nothing. The world is filled with laborers who sweat endlessly under the sun, yet remain trapped in poverty. Writers who filled endless pages, yet were never read. Soldiers who fought bravely, yet died nameless while kings claimed the glory. If effort alone created power, the hardest workers would rule the world. But they don't. Machiavelli saw through this illusion. He knew that success is not the automatic reward of toil. It is the reward of cunning, timing, and the ability to bend fortune. Effort matters, but effort without direction is wasted energy. A man can row with all his strength, but if he rows in the wrong direction, he only carries himself further from his goal. History is merciless in its examples. Millions worked tirelessly in the fields, building the wealth of empires, but remained slaves. Generations labored in factories, giving their lives to machines, yet lived and died in obscurity. It was not their work that brought them power. It was the few who understood leverage, the few who turned the work of others into empires, who became masters. The lie of hard work comforts the powerless, because it gives them hope that persistence alone will save them. But hope is not a strategy. The truth is brutal. Success belongs not to the hardest worker, but to the most strategic, to the one who understands how to position, manipulate, and direct the labor of others, to the one who knows when to act, when to withdraw, and when to strike with precision. Hard work without cunning is servitude. Effort without vision is slavery. Endless labor without leverage is self-destruction. Does this mean work does not matter? No, but it must be the right work, at the right time, applied in the right way. 10 hours of blind effort may achieve less than 10 minutes of strategic action. The lion does not chase every gazelle across the plain, it waits. It stalks, it strikes once. Efficiency, not exhaustion, creates dominance. If you cling to the lie that hard work guarantees success, you will spend your life sweating while others, less talented, less hardworking, surpass you. Why? Because they understand that work is only one ingredient in the recipe. Power requires more: vision, timing, leverage, ruthlessness. Burn this lie. Do not worship effort for its own sake. Worship results. The world does not crown the tired, it crowns the eighth lie: unity creates strength. The world sings endlessly about the power of unity. Together we are strong, they say. Stand united and no force can defeat you. It sounds noble, it feels comforting, it promises security. But Machiavelli would sneer at this lie, for he saw what most men never do. Unity is fragile, unity is fleeting, and unity is often nothing more than chains disguised as strength. The herd loves this lie because it binds men together in obedience. Nations preach it to keep their citizens compliant. Religions declare it to bind believers into flocks. Families repeat it to suppress individuality. Unity, they claim, will shield you, but the truth is darker. Unity creates conformity, and conformity kills power. History proves it. The great empires that boasted of unity collapsed in betrayal and division. The Roman Senate, bound in supposed solidarity, tore itself apart with daggers in the dark. The French Revolution began in unity, but dissolved into blood, chaos, and the guillotine. Even modern states that chant about solidarity are riddled with factions, backstabbing, and hidden struggles for dominance. Unity is not power, control is power, strategy is power, leadership is power. The mass may move as one body, but it takes only a single fracture, a single betrayal, to reduce it to dust. Machiavelli understood that men are fickle, selfish, and easily swayed. Today they may march under your banner in unity, tomorrow they may abandon you for another. To trust in unity is to build your foundation on sand. The wise ruler does not rely on unity, he manipulates it. He forges temporary alliances, he buys loyalty, he instills fear and hope, and when unity no longer serves him, he discards it without hesitation. The lie of unity also blinds the individual. It convinces you that your strength comes only from belonging, from merging with the crowd, from dissolving your will into the will of the many. But the herd is weak, it is indecisive, it moves slowly, it sacrifices the exceptional for the sake of the average. To chain yourself to the herd is to accept mediocrity. True strength is not in blind unity, but in mastery of division. Divide your enemies so they cannot unite against you. Split your rivals so they fight each other. Align yourself with groups when it benefits you, but never believe their unity will protect you. The herd will abandon you the moment sacrifice is required. The lion does not march in herds. The eagle does not fly in flocks. The powerful man does not hide his identity in the crowd. He stands apart, commanding the unity of others without ever submitting to it. Unity is not strength, it is illusion, and illusions are weapons useful only when you are the one wielding them. Burn this lie. Trust not in the herd, but in yourself. Trust not in unity, but in your ability to command it when necessary and to dismantle it when it threatens you. The ninth lie: time heals all wounds. This lie is whispered to the broken, the defeated, the betrayed. Be patient, they say. Time will heal you. Time will erase the pain. Time will restore what was lost. It sounds soothing. It lulls the wounded into waiting passively, believing that simply surviving the days and nights will bring strength. But time heals nothing. Time is indifferent. Time does not mend your wounds. It deepens them if you leave them unattended. The scar is not shaped by time. It is shaped by what you do with time. Those who sit idle, waiting for healing, rot in their own despair. Their wounds fester, their weakness grows, their spirit decays. Machiavelli saw this clearly. He observed that delay, disguised as patience, often destroys rulers and men alike. Problems ignored in the hope that time will fix them only become stronger. Enemies unchallenged, while you wait, will not vanish. They will sharpen their knives in silence. Wounds left untreated by action will not fade. They will bleed until you collapse. History mocks the man who trusted time to save him. Monarchs who ignored rebellion, hoping it would fade, found their palaces burned. Nations that tolerated corruption, waiting for better days, crumbled into ruin. Even in the smallest matters of life, the friendship betrayed, the lover lost, the humiliation endured, those who wait for time to heal discover only emptiness. It is not time that heals, it is will, it is action. It is the deliberate choice to cut away what poisons you, to rebuild what was broken, to turn pain into strength. Without that, time is only a slow executioner, stretching your suffering across the years. The lie persists because it comforts. It tells you that passivity is enough, that healing requires no effort, no courage, no confrontation. But the truth is harsh, only decisive action heals. Time does not rescue you, you rescue yourself, or you perish. Burn this lie. Do not trust the clock to erase your pain. Use the clock to forge your revenge, your growth, your rise. Time is not a healer. Time is a battlefield. The 10th lie: talent guarantees triumph. This is the most seductive lie of all. It flatters the gifted, comforts the naturally skilled, and lulls them into complacency. You were born for greatness, they say. Your talent will carry you. It whispers in the ears of the ambitious. You do not need strategy, cunning, or ruthlessness. Your gifts alone will suffice. It is a lie, a dangerous one. Talent without action, without calculation, without leverage, achieves little. The world is littered with geniuses who died unknown. Artists whose masterpieces were lost. Musicians whose symphonies were ignored. Inventors whose brilliance never turned to influence. Talent is a spark, but without fuel and direction, it fizzles into darkness. Machiavelli observed this centuries ago. He understood that innate ability is useless without power, without strategy, without psychological mastery. The clever man who waits for recognition, the brilliant man who trusts in destiny, is vulnerable. The cunning man, with half the talent but full mastery of human behavior, seizes everything the talented man dreamed of. Even today, talent alone is never enough. The worker who is the most skilled is passed over for the one who knows how to negotiate, how to influence, how to position themselves strategically. The athlete with natural gifts who lacks discipline and game intelligence is eclipsed by the less talented player who understands the dynamics of the sport. The entrepreneur who is brilliant at innovation but blind to human nature is crushed by competitors who manipulate perception, timing, and alliances. Talent may open a door, but it will not push the door wide. It may give you an advantage, but advantage without action, without ruthlessness, without strategy is meaningless. The world does not reward potential, it rewards execution. It rewards the one who knows how to convert talent into influence, skill into leverage, and ability into results. Those who cling to the lie that talent guarantees triumph will watch others surpass them, not because they are smarter, but because they are more cunning, more strategic, and more willing to act decisively. Burn this lie. Talent is a tool, not a destiny. Mastery of yourself, mastery of others, mastery of circumstances, that is what creates triumph. Not your gifts, not your natural brilliance, not your dreams. Triumph belongs to the calculated, the ruthless, the ones who understand that skill without strategy is powerless. You have now faced 10 lies, 10 illusions that society, upbringing, and naive hope have sold to you as truths. Fairness, likability, honesty, morality, patience, knowledge, hard work, unity, time, talent. Each one promised security, each one promised reward, each one promised safety. And yet here you stand, perhaps still unsettled, perhaps still realizing how much you've been misled. This is no coincidence. The world is not designed to reward virtue, effort, or goodness. The world is designed to reward influence, strategy, and psychological mastery. Those who cling to lies are left vulnerable, prey to those who embrace reality as it is, cruel, unbalanced, and unforgiving. Machiavelli was not cruel for the sake of cruelty. He was a realist. He saw men for what they are, ambitious, self-interested, and unrelentingly strategic. He saw that illusions make the mind soft, the hand weak, and the soul naive. To ignore his lessons is to live blind in a world full of eyes, to walk naked where predators prowl. But here is the paradox. Knowledge of these lies does not make you evil. It does not make you cruel. It makes you awake. It gives you tools. It hands you the keys to power that others squander while they trust illusions. To understand that morality is camouflage, that patience without strategy is paralysis, that talent without action is wasted brilliance, this is liberation. This is freedom. This is the first step toward becoming untouchable. Let us be brutally clear. The choice before you is not theoretical. Every day you cling to these lies, someone else is exploiting them. Every day you hope that life, fairness, or time will reward you, someone is seizing what should have been yours. Every day you wait for recognition, someone is taking it with ruthless decisiveness. You can remain a victim, shackled by illusions, or you can awaken. You can learn to wield morality as camouflage, knowledge as leverage, patience as a tool, and time as a battlefield. You can understand that fairness, likability, honesty, unity, and talent are only weapons when handled with strategy and psychological mastery. You can act decisively, dominate silently, and shape reality rather than be shaped by it. This is not advice, it is a warning, a guide, a call to awaken from the comfortable nightmare of lies. The world will not pause for your moral outrage, your careful preparation, or your wasted effort. The world will not recognize your brilliance if you do not position it, execute it, and defend it. The world will not grant you victory for being good, patient, or talented. The world will reward only the one who understands its unvarnished rules and moves with precision, courage, and strategy. Remember the lies. Remember the truths. Remember the consequences of believing in illusions while the world moves around you. Every moment you delay is another moment you allow the unprepared, the ruthless, the cunning, and the strategic to surpass you. The choice is yours. Remain in the comforting shadows of these lies or step into the ruthless clarity of reality. Embrace strategy, embrace psychological mastery, embrace action. Because the world does not wait, The world does not forgive. The world does not reward the naive. And if you do not master its rules, someone else, someone less talented, less moral, less patient, less fair will master you. The decision is brutal but simple: awaken or be consumed.